Following the release of the 845-page January 6th Select Committee report, Donald Trump stewed for a few days on it, a little angry about it, but he had other things to rant and rave about on Truth Social. But finally, he broke his silence, got on Truth Social, and proudly proclaimed once again, and totally falsely, that he has absolute immunity from any kind of legal repercussions from anything he did while he was president of the United States. So here is what Donald Trump said on Truth Social. Very interesting, because until recently, the political hacks and thugs of the highly partisan January 6th Unselect Committee were seldom talking about your favorite president, me, as it related to the protest on election fraud. Number one, as president, I have total immunity. Number two, I did nothing wrong. Then the committee members, mostly the same sleaze that pushed the Russia hoax, started saying that Trump did it. Even Shifty Schiff got into the act again. Sad. I do have to point out how funny it is that he's like, your favorite president, me. Like, he had to remind people, like, I'm your favorite president, right? You couldn't have just said your favorite president. I think the you was kind of understood in that situation because clearly this was meant for your base. And yes, you are their favorite president. But you don't have immunity. And I don't know at this point if Donald Trump is just using that as a legal excuse, if he's planning on using that as his legal argument again, or if he genuinely believes it. Because yes, there is a doctrine of presidential immunity, but it is actually very limited in scope. Presidential immunity only applies to the things Trump does as president, to the decisions he makes as president, to the policies he enacts, and to the orders that he signs, to the military directives that he gives. No matter how bad they are, no matter how ridiculous they are, no matter how much they hurt the country, a president cannot be sued for those decisions. Which, by the way, is why it's ridiculous that Republicans are going to investigate the withdrawal from Afghanistan. It doesn't matter what happened. You can't criminally charge anybody with that. That was an order given by the President of the United States, and he is immune from anything related to that. Just like Donald Trump is immune from his anti-immigrant policies. There's nothing we can do to hold him personally legally accountable for it. It was a decision he made as president. That's the extent of presidential immunity. Now, if Donald Trump as president were to go out there and, hit somebody with his car, he's not immune from that, right? Your actions as a human being, you are still held accountable for those things. And that's what we're looking at here with regard to the January 6th committee's report. Those things you were allegedly doing, the phone calls that were being made to and from the White House, the call you made down to the Georgia Secretary of State, those are not protected presidential activities. You can, in fact, be prosecuted for them. You could be sued in civil court for them. There's lots of bad things that can happen to you for the things you did as a person or even as a candidate, but not the things you did as an actual president, which, of course, is why there is a little bit of a gray area with him showing up at the Stop the Steal rally. And one of the things that the courts have already said is no. When you showed up at the Stop the Steal rally, told these people to fight like hell, you weren't doing that as President of the United States. You were doing it as candidate Donald J. Trump, still seeking to win the presidency. And that is a very clear distinction that has to legally be made in order to hold him liable in those civil lawsuits. But there is no 100% blanket immunity for a sitting or former or current or future or whatever president. It simply doesn't exist. And Donald Trump has already been told that, by the way, by the courts. The courts have told him this isn't a thing. But he's still out there insisting it because he knows that his base is going to buy it. But they're not the ones who are going to be sitting on a jury if he gets indicted. So all of this is likely going to be for nothing in the end.
This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.